Hello everybody, welcome to a slightly grey Worcestershire today, and I'm out in the garden. It's the kind of weather, it's not raining but you want to get out and do something but under cover, and as you see I'm in my greenhouse. It's quite an old greenhouse. We've been living here now for 18 years and it was already old then, and my husband has kept modifying and repairing and putting glass panes back that were slipping and sliding, but it's hanging on there, so we're okay for the moment. I had a bit of a surprise yesterday. I was sorting out a cupboard near my back door in the house and I discovered an envelope. I thought, oh, what this is, and lo and behold, I pulled out a lot of unused seeds. Now it looks to me as I must have ordered these perhaps in 2022, okay, get it right. So I have no idea whether they're going to grow or not, but it seems a shame not to try. It says used by December 23, so here we go. And what have I got? I've got sunflowers. These ones will only grow to 45 centimetres, 18 inches. So I'm going to give those a go, and there's 20 seeds, so nothing wasted there really. I've got tagetes, which is like a marigold, lemon gem. I grew some of these a few years ago and they were very successful, so I'm going to give those another try. I've also got cosmos, which is a great favourite of mine, but I've actually planted quite a lot of those already this year, haven't come up yet. And dahlia, bishop's children it says, and these will grow to 90 centimetres, 3 feet high, so quite big. We'll give those a go. There's 40 seeds in the dahlia pack and 100 seeds in the cosmos, so I might just try a few of those. As well as that, I also found an opened packet of climbing beans, cobra, which I grew last year. These are older than that, but they were really successful. I grew them outside in grow bags up against the garage wall, but I'm planning to move them slightly this year, but that worked really well. So that's what I'm doing. Now, prior to finding this pack, I'd already decided that I would change the layout of my greenhouse. As you perhaps can see, I've got staging this side, and I used to have staging on the other side as well, but I wasn't making use of the ground, the soil in the ground. It was all covered over. I had a visitor last year who was very anxious to see my greenhouse. Now, I didn't realise, but he used to manage greenhouses and grow tomatoes commercially. So you can imagine my shame when he stepped inside and could see it was just used as a shed. So I'm making an effort this year. So I planted some tiger stripe mixed cherry plum tomatoes. They look nice. I grew these outdoors last year, some sun gold, which were very successful, lovely sweet little tomatoes. And I'm having a go, my first time at doing beefsteak tomatoes. These ones are, what are they? Beefsteak, doesn't say. Tomato, beefsteak, country taste. So I've already planted those, and 1 or 2 of them are starting to come up, so that's promising. So at the moment I'm going to plant some sunflowers. I think we're now in the middle of April. The weather is starting to heat up a bit. Not so much today, but we're sort of daytime temperatures 12 to sort of 16 degrees Celsius. So I'm hoping that that's going to be okay. I don't heat my greenhouse. It's a bit too expensive to do that these days. So I'm just waiting for the temperature to rise, and I think we're set to go. Right, so I'm just going to smooth this off, and I'm going to put there's 20 seeds and I've got 12 spaces here, so I'm going to put 2 seeds in most of the spaces. Put the rubbish in there. Let's have a look and see what these seeds are like. Sunflowers are lovely, aren't they? But we'll see how we do now. I usually use a little, it's actually a grapefruit knife, look. It came in a set when we were married 55 years ago, and I think I've only ever used it once. We don't have grapefruit very much. So there's 2 gone in already. 2 more going in now. And so we'll go on. I'll probably it's quite nice when these grow to leave the seed heads on, and then the birds in the garden can enjoy them, which is nice to see. Nothing wasted. You want to talk amongst yourselves while I'm doing this. I've gone quiet because I'm concentrating. Are you the same? Do you go quiet when you're concentrating? Right, I've got 3 left. So 1 in that one, 1 in that one, 1 in that one, and we should be okay. I did water this compost before I started using it, so there should be enough moisture in there to get those started. And I've got an old marker here, so I'm going to put sunflower in there, and I'm going to put, I think I said it was 45 centimetres, didn't I? Where's the pack? So 45 centimetres, 18 inches. We'll see how we go with that. Put those in there, take them down the end. It gets a bit full once I really get going. And then I'm going to plant out some more. While I'm planting more, what shall I do next? Let's have a look. I think climbing bean, yeah, April to May in single pots. I think we can probably put them in these. A few leaves in there that I've got in there somehow. Let's get rid of those. That's smaller to start with, and then I can move them on once. Otherwise they take so much more room. I'm going to need about, how many plants am I thinking? I'm going to have 4 grow bags, and I'm going to put 3 in each grow bag. That's what I did last year, and it seemed to work a treat. So I shall there we go. These are the climbing beans, Cobra. Right. I was telling a friend, when I was a little girl, my dad was quite a keen grower, and we lived in London. It was just after the war, when there was a lot of rationing, and so anything that you could grow yourself was an absolute bonus. Money was a bit tight. Dad was just starting out on a career, come back from the war, and so he wasn't earning huge amounts of money. And so he had a patch of ground. He built himself a greenhouse that he attached to the end of the garage that was very useful in growing seeds on and things like that. But he also had a patch at the end of the garden which was for vegetables, and he grew an enormous amount, which we used to enjoy. He did that for a while, and then I think it was in 1969 we moved. There we are, 6 French beans. We moved out of London, still to a big town, but there was a bit more space around us, and he got himself not 1 but 2 allotments. Now I was looking at today because I couldn't tell you really what the size was. 2 allotments was about Well, one allotment traditionally was 250 square metres, which if you think about it, that's 25 metres by 10 metres. Quite a big area. But he had two of them. One of them was supposed to be enough space to keep a family of four fed for a year. So there were only 5 of us, and he was growing enough for 8. Hi Fred, my little dog's come out. Yeah, he's fine, he's fine. Just to take my mind off it. So we moved to a house that didn't have a big garden, so he took on these 2 allotments. And I think, you know, he had quite a stressful job, and it was his way of relaxing at the end of the day. He worked shifts, so it meant that he did so many days on and so many days off, so he was able to spend quite a lot of time down on his allotment. He used to have some friends, buddies down there. He had a shed with tea making facilities. He was never without a cup of tea in his hand. So, I've got some more. These are old ones I'm reusing here. He would spend a lot of time down there, and there was far too much produce, far too much. He often had me going down the road with armfuls or basketfuls of runner beans or whatever, and people didn't want them. So I really don't know what happened to those. But he made a lot of wine as well. So he used to grow a lot of parsnip. We had parsnip wine and marrow rum, which was a favourite of his, and potato wine. And I have no idea what the alcohol content was, but it was quite potent. And he would have friends call round. He'd say, "Oh, come and try my parsnip wine." Well, of course, they drove to the house to try his parsnip wine or his marrow rum or whatever. And he wouldn't just give them a tot, he gave them a tumbler full of this potent stuff, liquid, whatever you want to call it. And goodness knows how they got home or how they avoided crashing, because it was in the days before people had to worry about drinking and driving. No restrictions on people except their common sense. But of course, if you didn't know what you were eating or drinking, you took it without really understanding the effects it was going to have on you. So goodness knows what damage he did. But it was a passion of his, and he used to keep us in fresh veg. I didn't say when we lived in London after the war, he used to keep chickens and rabbits. He liked rabbit stew, and you couldn't always get rabbit. So a lot of things were still on ration when I was little. So anything that he could manage to grow, you know, was very helpful in the kitchen. Now I'm going to carry on planting these things in the hope that come a month or 2 down the line I shall have lots of seedlings coming up, and I'm going to be able to stock my garden. You might be able to see in the distance, I don't know whether you can, I've got quite a lot of geraniums that I've overwintered in an unheated porch in the house, but I wanted to get them out, so they're in the greenhouse, but I need to take some cuttings from those. That's probably the next step. And I also wanted just to show you, you might be able to see one of 2 growing beds that I've got inside. I'm hoping to have my tomatoes in here. And we had, in fact, we've had 3 different watering systems, the automatic ones on the tap that just send a drip through at whatever rate you want. We're going to get a new one because I think the frost killed the other one off. And so I can keep this watered, because that's one of the problems across the summer in the greenhouse. You've got to be doing the watering every day, and we're not here every day. You know, we like to go away and do things in our caravan or visit places, not be tied to the garden. And so the watering system, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, is going to make it easier, and the plants hopefully will thrive. This is all part of, for anybody that's seen one of my earlier little videos, part of the 80 things for our 80th year. We're coming up to 79. My husband's birthday's next week. He's 79. I'm in a few weeks' time, and then we've got a year building up to our 80th birthday, and we've decided to do 80 new things. Well, one of the new things is this new bed, growing some different things, particularly the beefsteak tomatoes. Not very adventurous, and I'm sure some of you out there are absolute whizzes at this sort of thing. I'm not very good. I'm okay on the weeding and the hoeing and the lopping and yeah, all those sorts of things, but things that need regular input, I'm not so strong on, as some people are. So we'll see how we go. I mean, hopefully they won't die, and maybe if you're watching me, you'll make sure that I do the job properly. So I'm going to leave it for now, and hope that another occasion in a month or two's time I'll be able to give you feedback on whether these seeds have grown. Let's see if they will after all this time. But you know, in the desert I understand that seeds can lie dormant for decades, and you get one flash flood and up they pop. So being just 3 years out of date doesn't seem too bad, does it? We'll see. Anyway, bye bye for now. Look after yourselves, and I'll see you again soon.